Michigan football landed some much needed help at a position of need Wednesday in the form of UMass cornerback transfer Josh Wallace. I'm Anthony Broom, but before we get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the Wolverines YouTube channel for more football analysis, news, recruiting coverage, and much more. The Wolverines entered the offseason with a bit of a hole at cornerback next to Will Johnson. It seemed like they were going to have to add a body somewhere, and Josh Wallace is that guy via the transfer portal. Wallace, who entered the portal on May 25th and has 1 year of eligibility remaining, chose Michigan over Oklahoma and Georgia Tech. The three-time team captain was On3's top uncommitted portal prospect at cornerback and the number 12 overall player available when he committed to Michigan. Wallace was a standout for UMass last season with 41 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 8 passes defended. He allowed 22 catches for 381 yards and 2 touchdowns on 40 targets, and Pro Football Focus graded him as the number 117 cornerback in the nation. Wallace brings some much-needed experience to a Michigan cornerback group that doesn't have a lot of it. Sophomore Will Johnson was a freshman All-American last season and is the most experienced of the group with 14 games and 689 defensive snaps under his belt. The others contending for a starting spot, however, have played just a combined 44 defensive snaps in their career. Wallace, on the other hand, brings 2,197 career snaps over 39 games to the room, making him Michigan's most experienced corner by far. He totaled 140 tackles, 7 stops for loss, 1 sack, 3 interceptions, 24 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble during his time at UMass. Of course, there are Michigan ties to UMass that help make this a smooth transition for him. Former Wolverine defensive coordinator Don Brown is the program's head coach. Offensive coordinator Steve Casula was an analyst at Michigan, and outside linebackers coach Mike McCray is a former Michigan captain. UMass wideouts coach and recruiting coordinator Ryan Partridge is the cousin of Michigan linebackers coach Chris Partridge, so there really are endless ties here. Michigan likes what it has opposite Will Johnson in Amarian Walker and Jaden McBurrows, among others, but it felt like they needed to add a veteran body for depth, if nothing else. Wallace should enter fall camp competing for the number 2 cornerback job and could be in for a big role early on with Will Johnson coming off off-season knee surgery. There is plenty of time for everyone to get healthy, and the non-conference schedule lends itself to getting younger guys experience, but you should always fortify your roster if you have the chance to do so. Wallace has been described as a ball hawk and is fluid in coverage, so there's no doubt that this is a level up for Michigan's cornerback room. It has its fair share of question marks still, maybe the most of any position group on the roster, but a veteran with experience raises the floor of the room heading into the season. Wallace is the 9th player Michigan has added through the portal this year and is another that should have a role on the 2-deep depth chart. The Wolverines are pushing their chips to the center of the table to make a national title run, and now might not have a weak spot on the whole roster. Time will tell, but this group appears loaded ahead of the start of fall camp, tentatively set for August 1st.